No stairs to the back deck. Interesting.
You mentioned here, you talked about the manner in which Kaylee and Maddie were killed is different. And what does that tell you? And what are the police telling you that that means?
There's a couple things that tell me with common sense, but I'm not a professional, so I want to specify that. But they've said the entry point was the slider or the window. It was in the middle floor. So to me, he doesn't have to go upstairs. His entry and exit are available without having to go upstairs or downstairs.
This is going to cost a massive amount of money to Idaho. So let it be a beaconing for everyone to see when
Yeah, and close enough that he was touching their Wi-Fi. That his phone was touching their Wi-Fi. Yeah, so you know how close that is. If you've had a laptop, you walk out into your front yard, you're not going to get too far.
Security First Corp. Safety through knowledge.
What is malware beaconing? Imagine you receive an email that looks perfectly legitimate, but it's actually a trap set by a malicious actor. Once you open the attachment or click the link, malware infects your computer. But how does the malware communicate with its creators? This is where malware beaconing comes into play. Malware beaconing is a mechanism used by malware to communicate with a command and control C2 server. After the malware infects a system, it sends out a signal or beacon to the C2 server. This beacon can inform the server that the malware has successfully infected a new system, request further instructions, or even exfiltrate data from the infected machine. These beacons are designed to blend in with normal network traffic to avoid detection. For instance, malware might use DNS queries or HTTPS traffic to communicate with the C2 server. This makes it difficult for security systems to distinguish between legitimate and malicious traffic. To make detection even harder, malware operators use various evasion techniques. For example, they might send beacons at irregular intervals or use domain generation algorithms, DGAs, to create new random domains that the malware can communicate with. This way, even if one domain is blocked, the malware can still find another way to connect. The frequency of these beacons can vary greatly. Some malware might check in every few seconds, while others might wait hours, days, or even weeks before sending out a signal. This variability makes it challenging for incident responders to identify and stop the malicious activity. In addition to requesting instructions, beacons can also be used to exfiltrate sensitive data, such as login credentials or credit card details. The malware operator configures how often the malware checks in and what data to send back, making it a powerful tool for remote control and data theft. Understanding how malware beaconing works is crucial for protecting against these sophisticated attacks. By recognizing the signs of beaconing, such as irregular network traffic or unusual DNS queries, security teams can take steps to prevent and mitigate malware infections. So the next time you hear about malware, remember that beaconing is a key part of how it operates and how it can be detected.
We continue to support you guys, and we want to remember your daughter's legacy tonight. What can we do in this stage of the investigation to help our audiences? We'll put the tip number up, but what can we do right now to get you guys answers?
I think we need to post this timeline because it's a small community. This is like 6,000-7,000 people. We need to put a timeline out there where just random people can look there. I mean, people don't know, but their Teslas are filming 24/7, 7 days a week. So there could be somebody who doesn't realize that they have evidence.
Their ring cams, their phones, they were out and they were recording, and you know what? They look and, oh, what's that shady person? Look at that guy that just ran across the camera in the back. It's always those little things.
Did you get gas during the time that this activity was going on?
Gas stations. Did somebody go in and buy Band-Aids? I mean, obviously they're checking hospitals for somebody going in and, you know, we're assuming this person was wounded. We're assuming this person got hurt in this struggle and this altercation that took place that night. You know, they possibly needed stitches or were, you know, going to Walgreens at 3 a.m. getting Band-Aids.
Where the hell did it go? Hang on! Wait a second!
Hey, hello.
Hi. Good, how are you?
Good.
Good.
You are looking very beautiful.
Thank you. What is that?
Hmm?
On your ear.
Ear?
No, your left ear. Is that a hair gel?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
I could use
no,
some.
don't, you don't have to. You don't.
I just ran out. How we doing over here?
Okay.
A little more wine?
Sure. So when you say killer, you mean
He's a murderer. Yeah.
like an actual convicted murderer?
He killed people. I know. It's crazy.
So post that. We'll get you that timeline. You post it on your site.
They should have the timeline.
And that should help.
We have that timeline. We will post it up. If anyone that is, and it's right there on the screen, if you see something, if you saw anything minor, call the tip line. If you were there in that area, any little piece of evidence can help the authorities. I want to give y'all one last moment to tell our audience anything else.
My last thing is, if you have a daughter or even a son in that area, turn on a tracker app, share that information with your family. Don't walk around that town without everyone knowing who you are. That you have to protect yourself. We have somebody loose. I don't want to create a panic. I don't want to do anything like that. But we know what we know. I can kind of tell by my daughter's texts, messages. She did call 911. She wasn't saying anything along the lines of like she had heard something or she was in fear. So I'm just putting the dots together. As far as the investigators, they're very tight-lipped and they're keeping everything close to their vest. And I understand that. And I'm probably not the right person to share all these things with.
I'll answer the last part there just because it's at the front end of my mind. We're not 100% sure if the door was unlocked, but there was no damage to anything and the door was still open when we got there.
Yeah, there's so much intrigue in this 6 or 8 hours that nobody called anybody. Perhaps there was something that we don't know about yet. Perhaps they were drinking, or not to impugn their integrity, but were they intoxicated on drugs or alcohol or something? That makes a lot more sense than this woman sees this attacker, or at least a stranger, in her house with a mask on, drives or walks by, and she does nothing for the better part of 6 or 8 hours. That makes no sense, and quite honestly, may well be fodder for the defense, because defense attorneys just look for anything to suggest an inexplicable event.
For life's bleachable moments,